afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this second week of our academy. This is Jacqueline Alessi, the regional coordinator for WMI Eastern Africa, and I'm the one moderating today's session, where I would love to introduce a wonderful facilitator for today's session. His name is Brian Sensalire. He's 26 years, so he's one of us. Brian, being 26 years old, he has vast experience. For the past 12 years, he's been working in the civil society work with CBOs, like some of you who have CBOs, and also he has worked with youths like you. So his experience is one of those that we need, especially on this session of talking about mission statements. Brian, he's actually a consultant. He's a consultant and is doing a lot of work with some technical working groups. One of them is the Viv Healthcare. Viv is based in UK, where he's a consultant and doing so much of the group work, reviewing proposals and all that. And also he's doing some consultancy work with Robert Carl Civil Society Network Fund, where he's also helping in a lot of proposals and all that. So Brian being with us today, we expect to learn a lot from him. And please, if you have any questions for Brian, feel free to ask them in the chat or in the Q&A. We are very available for Brian to answer them, and also I'll be reading them out for anyone who would want to have their questions asked. Please also feel free to put in the chat your names and where you're from. It will be good. Of course, I will know a lot of you are here, many of you are here. Please feel free to also introduce yourself in that way, and we shall be happy to recognize each and every one. Thank you very much. And Brian, over to you, and please, the floor is yours. Yes.
Thanks, Jackie, for that introduction. I'm not so much a person with bios, so I just gave out a simple few things for people to be able to understand. So as they have said, I'm Brian, and I'll be taking through the participants through mission statements, the formulation, how to create the best mission statement for organization or company or business, and also why is it important to have a mission statement, and which things actually we should know when we should know before you have a mission statement. And I'll try my best so that everyone understands, and I'll use a simple language. Hope I'm audible enough, but please, if you don't hear me or if you don't understand, then use the chat box. I'll be seeing your comments, and the moderator will be helping me out. So we are supposed to have 1 hour and a half, but due to some issues in the country where I am right now of lockdown and COVID, so I'll try as much as possible to not to exhaust all the one hour and a half. So without further ado, let us begin. So when we talk about mission statements, I want you to understand that why we need a mission statement. And below the objectives, we are going to see that in this session, after this session, you will be able to know the following. One, you will be able to describe the nature and the role of mission statements in strategic management. We know we all deal with managing our own businesses, managing organizations, planning, budgeting, and the other things that we do in management. So you will be able to know the role of mission statements actually in managing the business. And also you will be able to discuss why the process of developing mission statement is as important as a resulting document. So people think the end result of an organization or a company is the achievements people make, but actually it's about the mission statement. So when you do exactly what the mission statement says or states, then you have achieved. But if you do contrary, even if you have a lot of achievements, minus you achieving or doing what exactly your mission statement says, you have not achieved anything. The other one, number 3, would be identify the components of effective mission statements. So we know the word mission statement, there are 2 words, but you find out that actually they are components in writing an effective mission statement. The other one, we'll discuss a clear mission statement that can benefit your strategic management of activities. So the mission statement describes and relates to your activities that you are planning to do in your organization or your company. Then the other one is we are going to see how to evaluate our mission statement. I know it sounds a bit vague, but actually we do evaluate the mission statements. And the other one, all of us that I think you are all want to know how to write a good mission statement. So let's begin. Um, let's go to slide number 2. So before we go further, we need to understand what actually a mission statement means in a simple terms. As I said, I'll be using simple terms. The first one, the first definition describes a mission statement for organizations, specific organizations, whether non-governmental or community-based organizations, people that are doing community work. So it must be a concise explanation of the organization reasons for existence. So specific reasons of existence of an organization. And this describes the organization purpose and its overall intention of being established. So what was your purpose? What is the purpose of for you to start up an organization? What was your intention behind establishing an organization? So the mission statement supports the vision and serves to communicate the purpose and direction of employees, customers, vendors, and other stakeholders. So we know in our organization, we have stakeholders, we have beneficiaries, we have partners, we collaborate with, and we have employees that we work with on a daily basis. So this mission statement communicates the purpose of an organization to the above mentioned stakeholders and people. Then the next definition describes, particularly for business people, those who deal with the products, customers, vendors, that kind of language. So it says a mission statement is an effective mission, must be clear, concise, and declaration about your business strategy. So it's about telling people your business strategy in a clear and simple manner. So every entrepreneur should write a mission statement earlier on because they provide you and your employees with the framework and purpose. So if you don't have one, you need to get one, because without this, you drafting a framework would be totally a different job for you, and you need a lot of work to determine the direction of your company. So we go on the next slide. So after knowing the definitions of an organization mission statement and a business mission statement, I know within this week you will learn about a business, specifically on business mission statement. So what I'm giving you is a whole component, the component of everything between mission statements, organization, and business, for those who are in business. Then before we start anything, as I said, first things first, they sent all of you a question, and I know when you looked at that question, I think I don't know what came to your mind, but whatever came to your mind is what we're going to talk about. So the question was, what is your purpose on earth? Not what is your purpose in life. What me right. So it was, what is your purpose on earth? And whatever your answer is, or whatever you wrote down, and I'll ask, I think, some of you to use the chat room to send me or to write what was your purpose that you found out. So you can just text, use the chat room to for me to know some of your responses. So as we begin, the reason why I wanted you to answer that question for me is that I wanted you to know that before diving into a mission statement, always people think that you first establish an organization or your company, then after you draft a mission statement, or the other way around. But to be more specific, for you to start an organization, you have to start somewhere. It starts from us, within us. So a mission statement of the organization or your business in the future, let me say 5 years from now, or 2 years from now, is got from you right now. For example, today. So when you look at your purpose, you cannot venture into a business, or you cannot establish an organization focused on specific topics that do not speak to your desires, motivations, your attentions, and values. So when we see that your values speak more and motivations speak more to the mission statements you are going to develop in your organizations and your company, because they reflect what we think. For example, for me, I've been in the health world and the civil society organizations. So you can't expect me, for example, to find me maybe doing a business in bricklaying, for example, although it is important and useful to get money, but my values are more dependent on what I perceive, on my motivations. So what am I saying? I'm talking about the personal mission statement. So a personal mission statement is simply what motivates you, what desires you have, what do you stand for, and what are your values. So a personal mission statement it's like a corporate mission statement. It describes your convictions, what you stand for, how you plan to create a life that embodies your values. In other words, it becomes your personal definition of success. So every success you have, okay. Exactly, thank you. I'm starting to see some of the responses. So we are going to be diving into your responses as we move on through our session. So as I said, your mission statement is a definition of your success. So how do you write a mission statement? Because I told you, writing an organization mission statement and a company mission statement starts with a personal mission statement, a personal purpose. So as you can see, I've written down three key ingredients or components of writing a mission statement. So I want you to follow these and then internalize your mission, your purpose in life that you wrote through that question, and you see whether this is to develop a girl and to grow into a self-reliable woman. Okay, so we are going to see how this works. Now, the first purpose is your purpose. The first key ingredient in writing a personal mission statement is your purpose. As I asked the question, what is your purpose in life? So after knowing your purpose, then the next one is your direction. your direction. Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve in the future? Where do you see yourself? What things that you want to do in the future? What do you want people to associate with you in the future? So that's your direction. The other one is a subset of things that matter to you. What matters to you most? So you find out that what matters to us as individuals actually plays a huge role in what our organizations reflect, in what our businesses reflect. For example, if I'm not a Muslim, or a religious person, you can't expect me to start a faith-based organization or establishing a mission statement for faith-based, because I'm not religious. So it doesn't matter to me for the religion as an example. So you find out that your example actually. So this is what we are going to do. So I'll give you simple guidelines on how to write your personal mission statement. So use these guidelines to change what you wrote or what you thought of through the other questions. So the first thing we're going to do, you're going to keep it short, because I'm seeing some of your examples, they're too long, sentences and paragraphs. So what we're going to do, you keep it short and don't forget about others. Like for example, if you're writing, I'm seeing people think of mission, their missions, personal mission statements as about themselves, what you want as a person. No. So when you draft a mission statement, you keep it short and don't forget about others, other people that are surrounding you, other friends, individuals, people you want to impact in life as you move on. So, and your mission statement should only be one sentence long. Now, this is what we're going to do. In writing a personal mission statement, you are going to try writing down when you answered your question, you wrote your mission statement. So use that same mission statement, personal mission statement you wrote, and try to underline the 5 words, or 3 or to 4, 5 words that describes you and your purpose. Like for example, I'll be giving you 2 in 1. Like for example, I'll give you an example of a personal mission statement, and then I already, as you can see on your screen, I've already underlined the words I'm talking about. Like for example, the first example of the mission statement: to inspire positive change through teaching and coaching. You can see I've highlighted inspire. Maybe the words that describes to you is to inspire others. So the other one, the words I've changed is change. Maybe you want to change. Maybe you want to change other people. Maybe it's about perspective. What do you want to change? Teaching. Maybe you want to be a mentor. As I know some of you, you always want to be mentors and mentor other people. You want to know, get a lot of information, learn whatever you can, then you pass on that knowledge to someone else. That's teaching and coaching. So what do you want to do? So you can see those words speak more to you and your purpose. Then they give you a statement for your personal benefit. The other one is to encourage, engage, and equip others to believe in possibilities. So this example, I've highlighted encourage and engage. So you can be that your purpose in life, maybe you want to encourage others. You want people to look at you and feel encouraged and feel inspired. Engage. You want to always engage people, maybe in business meetings, maybe in idea formulations, maybe in brainstorming ideas that can impact your community or even world at large. The other thing is to live a life of honesty, integrity, and unconditional love. I know people, you want the word love so much. So use that word then to describe your personal statement. The other thing, I'll go to the last one, to laugh at myself and let others express joy. So this is what I said when I said that when you're writing a personal mission statement, you have to think about others. Not only yourself, but you have to think about others, because you are not alone on this earth. You are not alone in this world. You are not going to do or establish a business or an organization you alone. You need friends, you need partners, and then you need beneficiaries. So if your personal mission statement is based on you and yourself, then how are you going to reflect yourself with that statement to others that actually want your services? So as for me personally, the last statement is what I stand for. I want to laugh at myself and then help others experience joy. So I always want others to feel joy when I'm around, and I always want to laugh because I'm a happy person. So always think about others when you're writing a personal mission statement. So we can go to the next slide. So we can go to the next slide. As I said earlier, that a mission statement describes your motivations, desires, attributes, likes, dislikes, and values. And this shows the direction you want to take and the purpose and things that matter to you. I will give you an example. Or when you are a single person, you don't have a partner in life, then you can then create a mission statement that actually serves to benefit couples or married people. Because for you yourself, what matters to you are still single. So then other thing is like sexual orientation. If you have a difference in sexual, remember in this world where we want to establish organizations and the companies, we still have people with homophobia. So for example, you don't expect people who are not, for example, KPs to start organization with for KPs or draw a mission statement, because that's not what matters to them. So even if you lie about yourself and say, okay, I want to care about girls and old people, yet you are not part of that same category. Sometimes you can see that you will struggle a lot to, from your perspective, your motivation and desires actually do not reflect what you established. So what we are going to do, these are some of the benefits or importances of having a mission statement. I will just talk about three. I'll just talk about one is to help providing focus and assisting in the provision of direction among organizations. As I said, this is your face. So a mission statement, it reflects what your organization stand for, reflects what your employees stand for in your organization, reflects what your beneficiaries can learn or relate to with the organization. So the other is to assist in creating a high level of coherence and aspiration among employees, partners, and customers. Actually, so many people think that a mission statement only communicates to the beneficiary and the stakeholders, but actually it communicates more to the employees, the people you work with in an organization inside the company. Because if they don't understand what your values and what your mission statement says for your organization, it means whatever they are going to do in your organization will not achieve the intended results or goal. So yes, so as we move forward, as I say that the mission statement actually talks to employees and partners and customers, but mostly to your personal employees and maybe workers. I'm trying to change my connection here. So the next one we're going to do is, so I'll be giving you a handout with all your questions inside, which I've answered later on within this week. They will share to you. So I'm just getting through things. as we move forward for the time being. So we are going to go to the tips for creating an effective mission statement. So after this session, we shall have a break, and maybe I'll read through some of your questions and see whether in the next session I'll be able to give you something. So the tips I'm going to give you, you'll be seeing the screen, but I'll be reading out something else. So your mission statements, it must be short or shorter. So this is what I mean. Keep it simple, and in other words, keep it stupid. So some people think having a stupid mission statement, it's not good, as or as what the company reflects. But actually, having it simple and stupid, actually, it's better because it reflects people or your beneficiaries and helps them understand more. So shorter is better because you want to convey a purpose and a goal of your business in a way that is simple, clear, easy to understand. So the more words you use, the more likely it is that you will send a message, you will send out a gambled message. So keep it short, simple, clear, understandable. The other one is what is unique in your business. So when you're writing a mission statement, you have to know what is the uniqueness? What do you have, or what do you serve, or which service do you provide, or which products actually do you sell in your business that are unique from others in the same industry or in the same business? Like, for example, what is that unique single thing or two things that are unique, particularly to organization, that will attract beneficiaries and customers to your organization or to your company, rather than going to the competition or to the competitor's company. So so this unique thing helps us to help organizations to fight off competition, or to fight off our business, to fight off competition in this world. So it's difficult to steal something that is entirely unique to you, because everyone will know, oh, that's an idea of Brian, me, that's an idea of Jesse, for example. So if someone uses the same idea that is unique to you and everyone knows, so everyone will know this is actually an idea of someone. But if there's no uniqueness about your organization or your business, it becomes a problem. The other thing is that your mission, when you write a mission statement, you have to create expectations. So your mission statement must have that expectation aspect. Like, for example, so when you have a target audience for something that they crave for example, to provide the best customer service possible. So when I say to provide the best customer services possible, so what comes to customers' mind, that maybe this company, maybe this business will provide the superior customer service to everyone and every time, because you create that suspense, so people to think, okay, maybe this one is better than the other one. Maybe this bread is sweeter than this one. Maybe this organization explains more and relates to my personal issues and problems in my community than the other one. So this is how you get beneficiaries and people actually to relate to your organization through a mission statement, not activities. Be realistic. Don't Be realistic. So some people want you to gamble around doing mission statements. Some people want to go over with the websites, the Google, the Chrome, and you get those big mission statements from different organizations, maybe the UN, maybe UNICEF, maybe even others, for your small community-based organization. So those two do not align. So you have to get something that realistic to your own issue, to your own community, to your own personal goals that you want to achieve as an organization and as a company. Then the other thing is that the mission statements must be memorable. People have to remember your mission statement, not the whole sentence of the mission statement, but just a few aspects, a few key aspects that actually people can relate. I'll give you an example. We have an organization that has a name, Send a Cow. That is the name of an organization, Send a Cow. So when people see the name of Send a Cow, people think maybe they are talking about cows, but in actual sense, they are not talking about cows. So, but being there is a word a cow, and actually the organization is focusing on children, on children and households that actually they can lift their incomes of households through providing cows. So it's easier. So people named the organization a cow organization, because it was easier for them to relate that single aspect of the word cow in the entire organization. So you can't divert from things that actually, so find that one thing that actually speaks to your organization, to your business, and to your goals, so that people can actually associate with that keyword and know this is your organization, this is your company, this is your product. So, and don't confuse memorable with the motto. And the other thing is that your mission statements must be active. Some people have dead mission statements. I don't know whether you knew that they are dead mission statements. So this one must be active, must be talking about now, tomorrow, and in the future. So that's suspense. So the your mission statement must be active in a way that it moves through time. So in that way, your organization will prosper longer than having a mission statement that actually that is not reflecting the future. So it means the organization will come, and then in 5 years, the organization will go away. So the other one is your mission statement must be positive, must create a positive messages. So don't use negative messages when you are establishing a mission statement. So this will help you to know what you want, what you need, and what the beneficiary lives, and it will make your beneficiary lives easier to target, and also to make easier for you to target your audience. They must be adaptable. We all know this world is moving from one place to another. In the last decades, we've been talking about HIV, HIV infections, HIV what. Now today people are talking about COVID. So if your mission statement is a dead one, as I say, that doesn't reflect that adaptability to go through the times and generations, then you find it hard to incorporate COVID activities in your organization or in your businesses right now, because your mission statement is entirely focused on something else and doesn't give you a room to slice in some pieces of COVID-19. And in this way, you won't be able to get grants of COVID in your organization or to benefit your community. So you will lose out because of a simple thing in your mission statement. The other thing they must be targeted. As I told you, organizations are established on motivation, desires, and values. So if your issue in the community is about goals, so make your mission statement reflect goals. If your company or your issue you want to solve in the community reflects youth, please, your mission statement also must reflect the same language, youth. So you must be specific in terms of targets, the target audience you want to reach out, your mission statement you want to reach out. So avoid these vague mission statements that always big companies use. So After this, as I said, you're going to have a you're going to have a we're going to have a break. So what is the takeaway? What is the takeaway through this before the break? As we said, your mission statement first must be clear, simple, concise, and must explain what organization wants to do or what organization, which services do you want to provide, to which people, the target audience, which people, and how do you hope to benefit? And as I said in the beginning, the mission statement of your organization or your business comes from the personal mission statement. It comes from you first before before you establish an organization or a company. So you must keep it short and must be unique. That is the first thing I want you to get. You must have a unique aspect specifically that describes you, your product, your service, your organization, your business. When we come back, we're going to dive into how to write an effective mission statement now. Then you know all the above, what we talked about, how they fit into writing an effective mission statement and how does it look like, and maybe some slides to come to explain more. So I don't know how many, the moderator, how many minutes are you going to, can we have for the break before we go into another session, as people maybe start asking questions for me to know.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Brian, for such a wonderful presentation. I'm so glad that we have you elaborate on this. A lot of members have questions. A lot of members have created some missions within the chat here. And I just want to know, there's 4 questions here. Someone is asking Brian, how different, let me just stop sharing here. How different is an organization's mission statement from the project proposal mission statement? That's one of the questions we have for you. The other one is, my purpose, someone is giving their mission. My purpose is to give a smile on a destitute children's face. For example, be a helper, being a philanthropist, whereby people can depend on me. Someone here, you say the mission statement, be able to go through time of generations. But in the slide, which tips, with tips, one of the points is do not think long-term. Kindly clarify. So the last one for you, I know you can answer one by one. We can answer those. Let's first go through those ones, and then we can continue from there. Brian, over to you.
Okay, I will start with the last one. Do not think long-term. As in, what does it correspond to what I said that must speak generations? So this is what I said, that your mission statement must be adaptive. So I'm saying don't think long term in terms of drafting and using words that actually reflect long time. I'll give you an example of some of the mission statements people write. Maybe, for example, to be the best in the world. Someone can just say my mission statement for my company is to be the best in the world. So you start wondering. So this statement reflects all the generations to come. So it doesn't explain the long term that people always think about, that what is the long term, because you don't know what is in the future. So the mission statement, what I mean by generations is simply having a mission statement that can change with the available environment. As I say, last decade we talked about HIV. Now these 3 years we're talking about COVID. So if your mission statement describes to be the best in the world, so it all goes through even this COVID times. But if your mission statement only reflects in a specific period of time, then it becomes a problem. I will explain further with this when you go to the other slides on how to create a purpose mission statement. And I'm happy for someone, I hope if I got the name, someone who said the mission statement is to smile on the destitute, is it a destitute child's face? Yeah, that is that is nice. Yeah. As I said, your personal mission statement don't describe about yourself. Think about others in your personal mission statement, because you have sisters, you have relatives, you have partners, you have co-workers, you have your bosses. So you have relatives, people you want to talk about. So you must reflect your personal statements, your purpose to others. Then someone asks, what is the difference between organization mission statement and a project proposal mission statements? No, some people think it's similar. Actually, let me say this. Sometimes you can use your mission statement, your organization mission statement, as a project mission statement if it ticks these three things. For example, it has a target audience, it has has a unique aspect, and yes, and it is unique to you. So the difference between the organization mission, that after explaining that it's a conscious explanation that talks about your organization and everything, for project proposal mission it has audience, the location, what you want to do, what you want to achieve in a specific period, and what your donors want to achieve through this project. So you can see that in a proposal mission is specific to the issue of your grant or of your project you want to write, or your project you want to have. But when the mission statement of an organization speaks to what your organization does, which people or beneficiaries your organization serves, what services the organization or business offer or provide, what is unique about those services from other organizations or companies they serve, what is unique. So that is the difference. The other one is specific to the issue. For example, what problem are you trying to solve in your project? It may be shortage of water in your community. So the mission statement will speak to that issue of shortage of water, which it affects which people, maybe old people, and then which location. There's a specific location, maybe Uganda, maybe Botswana, where I saw someone from Botswana, I think Jesse, Botswana. So, but the mission statement doesn't give you location and time frame. As I said, it must communicate throughout the generations. Yes, Jackie?
Yes, thank you very much, Brian. I'm happy that members are saying it's clear. So someone also asked, is there a difference between a mission statement and a motto? That's for you. Then another one said, how long should an ideal mission statement be? That's another question you can answer. Another person here says to make, someone was giving their mission statement, to make lives happier through good nutrition and a good lifestyle. The last one for you is, what's the word limit for a mission statement? Brian, over to you.
So when we go to, for example, the slide that had the tips. So what I was explaining to you is a broader things, not focusing on these tips that I outlined. But if you go back to the tips I outlined, you will see that the last one has do not be afraid to change it. Meaning, one tip of creating an effective mission statement, don't be afraid to change it. So some people think when you're writing a mission statement, it must be now, forever, and after, even in death. No, 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 no. You can always change your mission statement to reflect what you want to achieve in that particular period, or in that particular, or to engage and involve the changes that happened in the world, as I said, the COVID. So that explains the other question of how long should the mission statement be. So there's no long term. As I told you, don't be afraid to change your mission statement. As you know, as we people, especially with the youth, we always change names. I've seen someone here in the chat, someone saying that is not your, I think that's not your real name. Please share with us the correct name or the right name. So if you can yourself can change the name, if your organization can change the name, why don't you change the mission statement? So a mission statement can be changed. Don't fear to change it to fit that particular moment or environment you are talking about. Then the other, what is between a mission statement and a motto? A motto is I think 1 to 3 words to make a motto. Then a mission statement, I said, it's a combination of 1 to 3, 4, 5 words that explain that combination explains the relevance of an organization, why it was established, which target audience, which services or products you are going to serve, what is the uniqueness about your organization or your business or your product. But a motto is just what you feel or what organization you think can give out. For example, I'll give you a difference between a motto and a value. And actually, it's not about the motto only. You can see that there is always a mix-up between a mission statement and values and the value of an organization. People always mischange a mission statement, then write in value, then a value in a mission statement. So in the last slides, I'll give you the difference between the motto, a mission statement, and the values. So Jackie, we can, I think, proceed.
Yeah, there's the last one here before we continue. Someone wants to know the main points to include in the mission statement that would otherwise differentiate it from a mission and a vision.
Okay, so in addition to what I've said from in a mission statement, like for example, target audience, uniqueness, adaptation, realistic, for project proposal statement, the first thing you think about is the issue, an issue you want to solve, an issue you want to change in your community, an issue you want to change in a certain category of people. So that is one thing that is not in a mission statement. So in a mission statement, you don't talk about issue or the problem. So, but in the project, we talk about any issue or the problem. The other thing is about, in the mission statement, I said we talk about target audience in groups, whether girls or boys. But in the project, we talk about specific girls. Which girls? Are you talking about the disabled girls? Are you talking about girls living with HIV? Are you talking about adolescent girls, youth girls, adult girls? So it's more specific. It's more specific in the proposal. Which audience are you talking about? Then what is the uniqueness in your mission statement? So the uniqueness in your proposal mission statement is what is so unique solution is that you are going to use to solve that particular issue your project is talking about. And as I said, the mission statement communicates what your organization does, services they provide, the success and target audience. For proposal mission statement reflects what your donors want you to write about, what your issue you are presenting to the donors is all about in your project. What do you want to achieve in your project? For the organization is the mission statement reflects what you want to achieve as an entire organization or business as the whole. But for project is specific on that particular project, what you want to achieve in that particular project, in that particular location. So there's no location in the mission statement for organization, but there is location in the mission statement for proposals and for projects. So those are the things that I can talk about.
Okay, I know we can talk about this throughout the day, but because members really are interested in and have a lot of questions, there's some question for you in the chats, and I don't want us to go to the next presentations or slides before you answer them. Someone says, Brian, thank you for the tips for creating an effective mission. I didn't understand what you meant by don't write an S easy. May you explain it once again? That's one. Someone also says, Brian, could you please come again on what should be contained in the project proposal statement? I think that's what you've just answered.
Yes.
I think the other one is the one that we need you to have a response on. Yes.
Actually, moderator, there's no. I think the slides maybe was a language or written a mistake in writing a correct word. It was don't write an essay, don't write an essay. So it was don't write an essay. As mean when we're writing a mission statement, don't write essays. People, you know essays. People, those who did literature, English, and everything, you know an essay. So it's a very complex, big information statement. So in a mission statement, we don't write essays. So we write a simple, clear statement or statements. Yes. So it was an essay, not an essay.
All right. So I hope members are on the same page. Just for those of you who have not yet noted down some few key notes, like the notes that we need to take home. There's something that Brian mentioned about the role, describing the nature and the role of the mission. Copying a mission, like he said clearly that we don't need to look into the missions, the big missions of big organizations. You can create your own mission. He also mentioned something about an active and a dead mission, that these are things that he clearly mentioned. And then positive message is another thing that we are hearing from his presentation. So over to you, Brian, on the next slides. To you, yes.
Okay, so please continue to share with the questions, and during the things that we shall be share with you after this session, I will try as much as I can to create more pages on responses to your questions we are having right now. So don't worry if I've not explained your question very well. I'm noting, I'll be putting them in the document that will be shared to you as in form of handouts. So moving forward, now this is what we are going to do, or this is what actually you must know. Apart from what we have talked about, this is now what we refer to. So writing an effective mission statement. So there are only 4 questions that you are going to answer. And if you have answered this correctly, then you have an effective mission statement. But be aware, like for example, from question 2 to 4, there are slashes. So it's just a difference of statements, but actually they mean the same. But I just created those slashes to be more specific, because all of us who attend this webinar, we come from different backgrounds and different countries. So some English may change. So that's why I put those slashes. So the first question you have to answer is, what is it that we do? I've already said this. What does your company do? Which services do you provide? Which products do you produce? Then the second question is, How do we do it? What do we create? Now this talks about the uniqueness. So what is that unique thing or unique things that differentiate your product, your services of the organization from other organizations and businesses? So whom do you do it for? This is now they're talking about / who does it matter to? So this one now talks about the audience we have been talking about. Whom do it for? Is it for girls? Is it for boys? Is it for the entire youth community? Is it for adult people? Is it for key populations? Is it for children? So you have to be, what do we do it for? Then the last question is, what value are we bringing? Or what does it matter? So all the things you are doing, from the services to the uniqueness to the people you want to do it for, then the last question, why does it matter? So don't just wake up from the blue and start an organization. There is a reason why they call it briefcase organizations. I know you have encountered this kind of word, a briefcase organization. It's just waking up from the bed and start up an organization. So you have maybe you have answered all the 1 to 3 questions, but you have not answered the fourth question. Why does it matter? Why does organization matter? Why does your services matter? Why does your products matter in business? You know, what does your organization or proposals or services matter to anyone? So you have to answer that question. What value are you bringing? So in addition, we go to the next slide. Yes. So so before we begin, so this is what part of the mission statement. So parts, there are 3 parts. As I said, the key. We have already talked about this, so I'll just go through them slowly. So the first key part we are going to talk about is a target audience. I've already talked about this. Who is your target audience? And which group are you referring goods to or services? Which groups are you providing services to? Remember, everything you want to rate in an audience for the key market has to relate to the beneficiaries you want to serve or to the customers you want to sell to. So remember, everything, it's not about you and the organization, it's about you, the organization, and the people you want to serve, the others I talked about. So which groups, which target audience are we talking about? I'll give you an example. For example, tracker users, girls, people living with HIV, key populations, old people, people with disabilities. So those are the target audience we're talking about. The target audience can be maybe children, for those who have businesses. Is it children? Are those school-going girls or boys? For example, if your businesses deal with the sanitary towels for girls, so meaning you have to target girls, school-going girls, for example. So in the second part, we're talking about your contribution, services that you want to offer, and why do they matter to the people you want to offer them to. So this is what we are talking about. So it's a self-mission statement, is outlining your contribution. In short, it provides, this is a product, this is the products and the services that your business or organization offers. So what services do you offer? For example, for people who are doing civil society, we offer, you might be offering sexual and reproductive health and rights services. You must be offering wash activities, that is hygiene. You must be maybe offering HIV testing, maybe rehabilitation services, maybe mental health services, maybe you are selling health products. For business people, maybe you are selling cars, or maybe you are selling handkerchiefs, or maybe you are selling wallets, so, or jewels. So it's about your contribution. What are you offering to the audience or to the target audience you are talking about in the first part? Then the other one, distinction. So as you can see in every slide, I tried my best to include that word unique. So That means everything you have to do in your organization must be that unique. That unique thing starts from a mission, then goes to the vision, then a motto, then the entire organization, so that every employee, beneficiaries all know that unique thing about your organization. So what is unique? Why? What do you do differently? Like, for example, for people in civil society, you always talk about youth-friendly services. Maybe that's the unique to you, but youth-friendly services in which way? What exactly are you talking about? Talking about, sorry, in mission in youth-friendly services. Then does it limit the risks to beneficiaries? So when you're talking about the services, the uniqueness, please make sure whatever your mission states limits the risks to beneficiaries. I don't want you to be conducting an activity, then maybe the law enforcement, they come up and gang up all your employees and then the beneficiaries. Then that means your mission statement and what you're going to stand for actually, it's a risk to the beneficiaries. Then that's not a good business, or it's not a good organization. So, and this starts from a mission statement. So if you have a positive mission statement, as I said, then um, it will compel you to have services that actually don't bring risks to beneficiaries. So what are the mistakes you have to avoid when you're writing an effective mission statement? First one is leaving little space for inspiration. As I said, it comes from a personal statement. Write an organizational mission statement. So your aspirations, your motivation, your attributes, your values speak a lot here. So do not leave little space for inspiration. So include a lot of inspirations about yourself, about organizations. The other one is lacking personality and fun. So some people think, so you have to have fun in your mission statement. For example, the mission incorporate your company's unique personality. Your statement should not be should be attempting to create a mission, should be attempting for people to laugh. Maybe it's about your culture. So you can use your culture to have fun. You can use young people or the youth then to create fun. So don't forget those small words. Then lastly, do not use jargons. I know our generations will have a lot of jargons and buzzwords. So please don't use those words because you got them from maybe a conference somewhere or a meeting somewhere. Words like, for example, paradigm shift. I don't know what it means. The other one is due diligence. You know, why don't you just write the word research or background check instead of due diligence? So remember, I told you this one relates and reflects to the beneficiaries. So we can go to the next slide. Moderator, next slide. Now, after we have talked about everything, this is what we are going to do, create a mission statement. I tried my best to write simple steps for you to write these statements, even if you're at home or in your free time. So the first column has steps. Then you can see vertically, step 1, step 2, step. Then the other one has inputs. What do you start with when you're writing mission statement? The other one is outputs. What do you end up with? So, as we have already said, we have already looked at this, but I've already put the year in. When you look, if you look at for example, in step 1, ask questions, you will see the yellow bolded words. And then you again, when you look throughout this table, you will see red words. So I try to put examples to bring you closer to what we are talking about. So the first step is ask questions. So which questions are we asking? These are the questions I've always been asking. For example, what is it that we do? We have already talked this in the last slide. So I give you an example. So what do you end up with? So for insights on what is it that we do, or what do we create? What does it matter? Who does it matter to? I already gave you what do we what do you do it for, how your company is different from others, what makes your business special. So this is, I'll give you examples, but after these examples, we will form a mission statement. So what is it that we do? For example, when you look at the other yellow things I said in the question in the step one, there's a word said, there was a word I wrote, connect. Hope everyone you are getting. I'm talking about step one, question, ask questions. So the first 3 words talk about what is it that we do. For example, we connect, we match, we unite. So the second question says, what do we create? So what do we create? For example, I wrote more opportunities, and we create the world. So remember what I said in the personal mission statement, that write down the 5 words that actually speak to you or matter, speak the things that matter to you. So these are the words now I'm writing down per question. So why does it matter? So I wrote productive. It matters because it's maybe productive, maybe successful, maybe it gives value. So who does it matter to? The last question, who does it matter to? Maybe for me, I wrote professionals, maybe students, yeah, maybe researchers, maybe teachers. So when you go to step number 2, you see the word brainstorm based on your answer. So in your mind or within your group, or you can form a group, maybe at home, maybe in your company, maybe in your community, you can form a simple group of maybe 5 people or 3 people or even 2 people. So you start brainstorming. So your words you come up with during your initial conversation. So the words I came up with, the other ones in the yellow in question 1. So those are the words you come up with. Then you brainstorm those words. Then after, in the output section under step 2, you phrase phrases that start to make sense. So all the words you have got, you start seeing that, those words actually can communicate a statement, can communicate a phrase. You can get a phrase out of those words you have brainstormed and wrote down. So when you go to step 3, cut your list of words. So all the other lists, connect, match, unite, more opportunities, world, productive, successful, professionals. Now you start cutting down the words to remove those words that actually don't reflect or don't talk about your values, or those words that actually don't speak to your organization values, or what you want to do, or what you want to offer. Then after you cut down some words, then you narrow down now the last words you have left with, the best phrases narrowed down. So you narrow down the phrases. Which phrases can you get from the words, the little words you have? I suggest you have like 1 to 3 words, 1 to 5 words, as you saw in the personal mission statement. Then on step 4, you create the first draft. So using those last words after cutting down, you start now generating mission statement ideas. So from those words, connect, match, unite, opportunities, all the words you have come up with. I'm putting this as an example. So on step 4, you create and you discuss ideas from those words. Which statements can you get from those words? So when you go to the outputs, you can see best phrases now down. So can you please go to the next? No, first. So on the last, back to the slide. So on step number 5, you can see get feedback, draft statements and get feedback. But I want you to focus on the outputs under that step 5. So it says, state mission statements in your own words from those words, insights on what you want to change. So I'm seeing the one paragraph that is not one step. There is a last step called step 6, finalize and share. insights and suggestions. So your final statement you must repeat when you have ideas, you have got ideas from the words you have created, ideas of mission statement. So you have to repeat step 4 to 5. So you have to repeat so that you make sure the statement fits what you want your company to reflect to the audience. So you can go to the next slide. So this is what I was talking about. So when you look at, these are some of the mission statements. Now, the words I wrote in yellow in the previous slide, the words were reflecting the example 1 of LinkedIn. I know most of you love LinkedIn and you are connected to LinkedIn. So that's why I used the same example. So you can see in the other one, I had the words connect, world, professionals, productive, and successful. So if you combine those words and then you brainstorm which statements can you get from those words you have written down, then maybe you can have a statement like to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful, as the LinkedIn statement says. So hope now it is more clear from the previous slide we have seen. So this example 2, to generate electricity, deliver electricity and distribute natural gas in a safe, reliable, efficient, and environmentally sound manner. So you can see that generate is a word, electricity is a word, deliver is a word, distribute is a word, natural gas is a word, safe is a word, reliable is a word, efficient is a word, environmental is a word. You get, so manner is a word. So after those words, then you cut down the simple words, then you generate a statement from those words that actually reflect the organization and your services you want to offer. So you can see their services. Then the third one, provide personal vehicle owners and enthusiasts with the vehicle-related products and knowledge that fulfill their wants and needs at their right place. So you can see these mission assessments, they are specific. Number 4, to help connect people who want to sell a business with people who want to buy a business, as simple as that. You want to connect people who sell a business or an idea or a service to people who want to buy those products. So lastly, this is the one that I want to somehow end with, reflections. So on the reflections, I'm talking about reflections on the previous slide of examples of the mission statements. So this one reflects on the other examples. Like for example, 1, the company has clearly laid out the answers to choose essential questions. To those essential questions, there are essential questions of what do we do, whom do we do it for, why does it matter, where we got those words. So the statements have answered those essential questions. 2, most large companies do not, especially big public companies, their mission statements are vague and do not say much. Avoid following that example. As I said from the beginning, don't copy those company mission statements, because the way big companies work is not the way your CBO or NGO work or your small business work at home or in your country. So avoid using those ones. Be specific as you have seen. Then number 3, large corporations are in a different position than entrepreneurs and have a different audience. So large corporations have a different audience than you, than your organization, than your business. So don't follow the example. The mission statement is focused on what the company does for its customers and keeps employees focused on our objective. Number 5, reflection. Your mission statement does not have to look the same as everyone else. Figure out what is important to you and your client and go from there. So you have that uniqueness we talked about. So you don't compare your mission statement to others. Just find out what is important to you and your clients or audience, and you go from there. Number 6, when you create a mission statement, avoid the common platforms of trying to summarize your company's services in a generic sentence. So when you are creating a mission statement, don't get all, because I say, what services do you offer? Then you list all the services that you offer, maybe 100 services. Then you want to put all those services into a mission statement. No. Choose those services that matter, maybe one to 3. that speak to your audience, you only focus on that. So next slide. So we can see we are, still have some few minutes here. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to rush through, but all the I will send, they will send you something. I will share with the coordinators of this webinar to share with their detailed everything, so that you read on your own with the simple steps to follow. Then when you read, you see everything will be clear. So this is the last slide I prepared. The difference between a mission and a vision. Why did I prepare this slide? Because always people mistake a mission for the vision. But remember, a mission and the vision, they work hand in hand. I'll give you an example in this table. So when you look at this table, I tried my best to bring out the big components. They are not examples, but they are the components you will find out. For example, when you look at the dictionary about what is the mission statement about, the mission statement talks about how you get where you want to be, defines the purpose and the primary objectives related to your customer needs and team values. But when you look at the vision statement, this also goes in hand with the motto. So about the vision statement, a vision statement outlines where you want to be. Remember the other said how talks about how you will get there. So mission statement talks about how will you get there in a process form. So a vision says where you want to be. Just vision where you want to be. A mission, how do you want to go there? It's a process. Then communicates the purpose and the values of a business. This one communicates the purpose and the values of a mission. For the mission, defines the purpose and primary objectives of your customers. This one talks about the general business values, the vision, but the mission specifically talks about the purpose and objectives to your customers and needs. Then the answer in the vision, it answers the question, what do we do? What makes us different? That's what the mission statement answers. But the vision statement answers the question, where do we aim to be? Where do we aim to be? This one, how do we do? What makes us different? How do we go there? So in time frame, the mission statement talks about the present leading to its future. As I said, it's a process and it cuts through generations. So it talks about the present and leading it its future. But the vision talks about your future. Simple as that. About your future. What is your future? Maybe I want to be a doctor, full stop. But then the mission statement says, how are you going to be a doctor? So how do you achieve being a doctor? Then the function, it lists in the mission statement function, it lists the broad goals for which the organization is formed. Its prime function is internal, to define the key measure and measures. As you can see, you read through. So it says where you want to see yourself. So vision, where you want to see yourself. Mission, the broad goals, which organization is formed on. Then the change, the mission statement, what do you want to change? Your mission statement may change, but it should be tied back at your core values, customer needs, and vision. As I said, don't fear to change your mission statement. So your mission statement can change as long as you retain the other motivations, desires, attributes, values of yourself and the others. But for the vision, it inspires you to give your best, shapes your understanding of why you are working here. It's this way you want to see yourself in the future. So developing, what do we do today? What do we want to do? For whom and why? For mission statement. For vision, where do we want to be going forward? Where do we want to reach that stage? How do we want to do it? So you can see the difference. The mission talks about the broader after you have reached there. The mission talks about how to reach there. So that's why there's a difference between a mission and a vision, but they go hand in hand. So your mission talks about the process of how you reach your vision. Your vision is the utmost goal of where you want to reach. I hope it's clear now. So,
Yeah.
for more details will be in the handout that they will share with you. So I hope now, for now, the beautiful scholars out there that I'm only able to see their names. I hope you have understood how to how to draft and create an effective mission statement, which things you have to consider. They start from the things we love. As I said, what do we do? What matters to you? So that's where you begin from. So using the last slides of a table, the 6 steps will help you drive. And when you have to reflect on the vision and the mission differences, so that you don't mix up a vision in a mission, or a mission in a vision. So some people always mix up such things. But in the handout, I'll give you more examples to differentiate between a mission and a vision. But here I've given you the big aspects that differentiates the two. Yes.
Wow.
So back to you, moderator.
Wow. Thank you so very much, Brian. And thank you very much to our dear participants who have participated in today's webinar. Before we go, there's some things that I want us to check. Brian clearly stated about the key ingredients that we don't need to forget. There was a purpose, direction, and the substance of things that matter to us or to you. And then he talked about the mistakes to avoid. Please, let's avoid the things that he mentioned. We shall be able to share some of these slides with you in our presentations. Someone has a hand, but we have 4 minutes to go. So I would kindly request Brian to be patient with us in just a few minutes as we will wind up this. Yes, someone who had the hand up, please, you've put your hand down. Okay, your hand has gone. All right, so if there is anyone who feels they have not understood anything, please feel free to inbox us, inbox me. I'll be able to reach out this to Brian and have responses done. Thank you, Leju, for the appreciation, and also the rest of the members who have attended. On behalf of the team, I want to say thank you very much, everyone who has attended. Thank you very much, Brian, for being part of this webinar. And to all of you, the scholars and graduate scholars, please, we have a WhatsApp. If you have any question, please feel free to jump into the WhatsApp. And please, like the mission statement Brian said, please make your mission statements for life. And feel free to always make life meaningful while making a meaningful mission for yourself and people around you. With that said, the last thing I want to tell you, members, is when you're thinking about your statement, like Brian said, it should be unique. Uniqueness is what should matter in creating your mission. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, Brian. And on behalf of WMI, thank you for attending. I would love to call the meeting to an end. Have a blessed evening, morning, wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you too.